Hello everyone and welcome back. It's absolutely freezing this morning, but we're going to be doing the injector seals on the Berlingo Multispace. Laid out on the table here, we've got the seal which goes onto the fuel bit. I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's what I'm calling it. These are the top seals, these are the spacers on the injector, and these are the copper seals which sit at the bottom of the injectors. I hope this is going to be a pretty straightforward job today, but I'm going to show you the signs that you've got an injector seal problem. First one's if you pop this cover off, you can see the splatter on it. If someone's trying to sell you one of these, and they've probably cleaned that off, but if you have a closer look inside, let's see if I can show you. You can see all like the black tar in there around the injectors. It's mainly on number 2 and number 3 on this car. But once we get it stripped down, I'll show you all that black tar in a little bit better because we've got to clean it all off anyway. The first job is to take these two pipes off. This one's just got a couple of Jubilee clips on it, and this one just unclips. Next off, I'm going to take off this turbo pipe. Got some Jubilee clips, a bolt here, a Torx bit there, and I think that's it. There's actually a bolt missing on the back. I don't know if there's something snapped or there's a bit of a washer missing, but I'll have to have a look at that when it gets taken off. Let's get that pipe off. I'll tell you one thing, since this pandemic, the quality of these gloves has gone absolutely shocking. You only have to look at them and they fall apart. It's like they're shouting 17 to £20 a box now, and they've gone worse. I go for about a box a time. Right, so there's a Torx bolt here, and this pipe just twists off. I was looking at it a second ago and I thought I can't get anything on that, but it just literally twists up. And then I presume it just wiggles out. So I'm just going to stick a rag into this pipe here for the turbo because I don't want anything falling in it. You can see there the tarring a little bit more as we start to work our way down. Next, we're going to remove this plastic cover, which is just these bolts around the outside, and that'll give us better access. Right, before I take that cover off, I'm going to get me a little Makita blower and I'm going to blow it out and just get rid of any particles that are in the way, or any dust, any bits of leaves, anything that's loose, because I don't want anything going in there. Attached to this cover is this pipe, must be like a breather pipe or something, but it's cable tied on. So I'm just going to snip that off and then we can get this cover off. You can see all the tar build up here. I'm going to have to be very careful along here because some of this is actually going to drop in there It's just hard to try and clean all that out while that cover's in place, but there is a lot of it. I think I'm going to get the Hoover. Going to get the Hoover out and hoover up as much as that as I can. This is a chunk of the stuff that comes out. It's literally like treacle toffee, like little bits of glass it's formed into. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on doing this, keep that covered up, strip out a bit more now with the fuel lines and the top bits, and then I'm going to have a real good scrape around there when I've got a little bit more access, because all that needs to come out. That can't stay in there, and I think it's all going to start cracking when I start working the injectors out anyway. Next job is undo all the 4 fuel lines and also unclip all these on top of the injectors, undo the multi-plugs. I might even undo these 2 10mm as well and just move all that out of the way if I can, just to give me a little bit more access. And then at that stage we should be ready to start removing the injectors. These are a 14mm spanner. It's best if you put some safety goggles on when you're dealing with fuel lines. Ow! Next, I'm going to take these top clips out and remove the top bits. That's where the green seals go. That one was tight, but see if you can make out on the camera there, little green seal on the end which we're going to replace in 2. So it's going to whip these 2 10mm out now. That one was tight, but see if you can make out on the camera there, little green seal on the end which we're going to replace in 2. So it's going to whip these 2 10mm out now. There's one at the back as well, so there's 3. Now I've got more access to the back. You can see there's even more tar down there, so I'm going to have a good 5 minutes now scraping all that out, because when I take the injectors out I don't want anything falling down that hole. I might even stick a rag down anyway and then get a hoover in with a hose pipe or something, but I'm going to try and get out as much as I can now, and then we can start removing the injectors. We've got 2 bolts per injector, front and back. I've bought myself a long 7mm Allen key socket, I think about £3 or something. Put the link in the description below because you'll need to buy one. It just makes things a little bit easier. So let's get these injectors out. We've got the injector out. Slight problem. The copper seal's still in the bottom. So I'm going to have to find a way of getting that out because I don't think I've got a magnet that's got a small enough head on it. I must have one somewhere, so I'm going to have a look now and see what I've got. I can't use a magnet because the copper won't stick to it, so I've just got a few of my picks and hopefully I can reach further enough down. That's some serious messing around. I have got the copper washer out. I used a dog leg pick and just put this on the end in case I dropped it down. It's never going to fall all the way in, it'll just go through the washer and stick there, but then you can't get your fingers on the end, so it's going out of focus. But yeah, that's the copper washer out. So let's get this injector cleaned up, let's get the seals changed and then move on to the other ones. I've made this concoction with the hoover. I'm just going to give it a hoover up down that hole and then put a bit of a rag in, and then I'm going to finish off cleaning up all that, and then we'll go over to the bench and clean the injector up. So I've stuck a rag in there now, and then I'm going to have a good scrape of this. Anything that falls in, it don't matter, I can get it with my hoover, and then we're going to clean up that injector and then finally replace this seal as well. That area is now super clean, and finally we can get over to the bench and clean the injector up. Right, so on the injector we've got a copper seal which is going to go here. This is the new spacer. They send them in the kit, so I presume you change them. Then we've got the seal which we're going to tap in on the car, but these do wiggle off, and then there's a little pin in here, a little clip that's going to allow me to take that off, and then I can fully clean this injector up and put it back together. I can't get this clip off, I don't want to force it and bend it, I've not got another one, so I'm just going to clean it up as best I can. That's moving, so with a bit of carb cleaner I should be alright. one super clean injector. That's all we do now. These don't look like they're any particular way around, they're just a spacer. Got the new spacer on. I'm going to drop a copper washer in, but before we do that, we're going to go back over to the car and we're going to get the old one out. There you go. The old seal's out. That's the old seal out. I won't say this job's an hard job. It's just a bit annoying, really. I won't say it's super easy as well. It's just a bit fiddly, but it is doable. I'm doing it. This is only the first one, but hopefully we'll get the other ones out and get them back in okay. So I'm going to put the new seal in. I've put it in the middle of a 13mm socket. It just makes it go in a little bit better. I'm going to take that bit of excess off there that you can see. I'm going to absolutely coat this in WD-40 now just to help it go in, and then we'll get it in the car and then we'll get it tapped in. But yeah, you have to really give this some coating with WD-40 just to lube it up because it's quite hard and it's got to fit into that gap. I've got the new seal in there. I just need to give it a hoover out inside. I ended up using a 17mm socket over the top because the inner of the seal kept flapping over and you'd never get the injector in. So I used a 17mm socket, plenty of WD-40, and just pushed it on slightly and then used the pick just to ease that inner bit of the seal in. Can be quite tricky, but just take your time with it. And if you need to pop that seal back out, it's better to get a screwdriver on. There's a piece of metal that runs inside that rubber and just pop it back out. But I'm going to change the end of the leak off connector as well, and then I'm going to put the spacer on, put the copper washer in the bottom, and then put that injector back in place, and I'm going to move on and do the other three, and then we'll come back and torque these bolts up. So that's all the injectors now cleaned and new seals put in. These two are especially stuck really tight. I had to put a socket on the end of where the fuel rail attaches there and just slowly work them back and forth. I did soak them for about half an hour as well with some WD-40, but it was just all the tar and stuff that had made them stick. I had a bit of a problem where I'd snapped this as well. Be really careful when you're taking these off. I've had to go to a scrapyard and get another one. Luckily they had a Berlingo Multispace in on the ramp being broken. It's probably added about 2 hours to the job going back to Bolton, but I'm going to put these pipes on now. I lost this bottom section of the pipe. It must have fallen off. I've had it off quite a few times, but what the problem was is this grommet here, they wear out and it goes onto this lug here and it just allows them to rattle a lot more. So I had to get a new pipe as well. That was £35. But like I say, just a shame that I'd lost it. I'd seen it the other week and it had fallen down there. I'd have reattached it all, but obviously with that rattling around, it was no good. So that's the injector seals done. How would I say this job's gone? You have to be really careful putting them black upper seals on. I don't even know if you have to change them. I think it's the copper seals that matter the most. But yeah, it's another job ticked off. Really happy with that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Any comments, put in the comment section below. Any feedback or anything like that, any questions, fire them in. I always reply. Hit the like button, and anyone who watches these videos finds them good and that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.